Number 5, we're going to talk today. We are live. Eric Norris, the policy dude.
Yeah.
We are here. We're doing it. A lot of stuff to talk about. We're trying to make these episodes a little bit shorter so that people can sit through them. We just have so much stuff to cover, but let's kick this off. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. All right, we're here.
Ready.
5 alive.
We made it.
How you been? How's it going?
Going well, man. I'm excited about today. We've had a lot of moving parts this week, and a lot of learning a lot. Been learning a lot, and I'm excited to I know one of the big topics is AI. We touched on it a couple episodes ago. Excited to dive a little bit more into that, especially with just what we're building, what we're learning, and just not so turnkey as we thought, right? Like the conversation around that. So yeah, man, it's excited. It's been a good week.
Love it. Awesome. Yeah, busy week. Things seem to get busier every day on both sides, right? The insurance side, we've had a good amount of people on board and join the team. And then on our marketing side, we have a lot of clients that we've ramped up. I'm excited to have some bigger agencies coming on board. Working right now with a big group with about 80 or 90 agents that we're helping do lead generation and all the stuff that we're doing. So exciting, lot of work to do. A lot of sometimes feeling overwhelmed, and I think I always want to say that to people, right? Like, business is never just all good, right? Like, there's moments where you're super overwhelmed. There's moments where things take a bad turn, and you have to take a step back and fix and then go again. And so, no matter what part of business you're in, whether you're just starting out or whether you're already going and money's coming in, or you've scaled, there's always challenges, and I think embracing those challenges is so important, and being able to work through those moments that are tough, and not call it quit, or not make sudden changes that can put you in worse situations. So flow through it. Don't let the emotions get the best of you. But look, let's get right into it, man. I know that today there's 2 real topics that we want to talk about, right? Like, number 1, AI is I think the big topic. It's on everybody's tongues. It's literally a keyword out there right now for most industries. ChatGPT, OpenAI, all these variations that are happening, not just the Microsoft one, which is OpenAI, but the Google version. You have other major companies are rolling out AIs to compete with ChatGPT. It'll be interesting to see over the course of time which one actually gets ahead and becomes kind of the leader. My money's on Google. They're not there yet, but my long-term investment is on Google for that. So,
and that's not financial advice, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Don't listen to me at all when it comes to stocks or investments. But I do think that at some point Google will come into the party and really start pushing. So, look, when we talk about AI, there's a lot of different ways to implement it. And right now there are apps that are out there that'll help you connect, right? Mainly OpenAI, because that's the platform that everybody's using, that everybody knows, and consumers are really taking advantage of it, and developers and all that. So right now there's really a few ways, and I think this is some of the things that we want to discuss, right? As an insurance agent, how can you implement AI and use these features and help it? What part of your business is it going to help? And the number one thing is, depending on the CRM that you're in, right? Or whatever CRM you're using, some of these CRMs are already integrating into ChatGPT, OpenAI, and creating direct connections. For example, Go High Level, which is the one that we use, for our business, and a lot of agents out there are using some variation of Go High Level, whether it's a white label platform, things like Agent CRM, Lead to Client. There's so many of them. There's a bunch of them. Agent IO. They all work off the same CRM. And we've talked about that before. So on Go High Level, just last week, it just happened. Or it might have even been Monday. It was either end of last week or this week. Go High Level released their own direct connection and integration into OpenAI ChatGPT. It's very easy to use. It is expensive. Man, they are taking a piece of your money, our money, to use it because of the simplicity, right? Because it's integrated into the CRM already. There's still things that you need to do, but it's all connected. I want to say they're charging either 3 cents or 5 cents per message that the AI sends out.
Wow.
So at scale, if an agent is getting, 50 leads a week, 100 leads a week, and you're texting that lead, dozens of times in the first week,
that's a lot of money.
The bill can really add up. But I will say this, it's also a really great way for individual independent agents that are trying to tap into it and see how it works and see if it's something that they want to integrate into their business. It's a good entry point. And then once you see that it works, there's secondary options to try to lower those costs, which we'll talk about. But, look, this stuff is revolutionary. There's no doubt about it, right? Like what AI is doing, what it's going to do on both the front end sales and on the back end of admin, simplifying work, taking tedious tasks that you were paying an admin for or that you were doing yourself. That stuff will kind of go away with the use of AI. Right now, the main use that I see in the insurance business is definitely the sales, right? The front end. A lead comes in and AI fires off to try to engage with that lead, answer questions, and then try to get them to book an appointment or to make a call to connect you directly with that person. Now, it's great. It has to be trained, right? I think there's a couple things that we want to clear up and people want to understand about specifically OpenAI ChatGPT, right? Like you have to direct the AI as to what to use, verbiage, Q&As. So like on Go High Level, when you start using it, there's sections. There's a Q&A section. In that Q&A section, you need to load as many questions and answers that relate to your business, right? So think of a lead comes in right now and says, who's this, right? Or you send out a text message, hey, Eric, just got your information on Facebook or on TikTok that you requested about life insurance or protecting your family or health insurance, whatever it is. And the person says, who's this, right? You have to answer that, right? You have to provide the AI some idea of how you want to answer that so that then it can take and create its own versions of how to respond. So right out of the box, if you just let this thing loose, it's not going to be very aggressive in the form of sales, right? Meaning that somebody says, who's this? AI might say, hey, we are XYZ company, and we're reaching out to you about, life insurance. Do you need help? Very basic, not very salesy, not very approachable. And so you have to train it. So Q&A section, very important, and putting in stuff like, if you're doing final expense, question, what is final expense? Answer, whatever that answer is. What is whole life? What is term life? What's guaranteed issue? All these questions that your customers are wondering and are wanting to ask about. How much is 20,000 in coverage? How much is 100,000 in coverage? All these things you're actually feeding this and creating a database that OpenAI can tap into and then create its own answers. Now, there's different versions and different ways to do it. You can literally let OpenAI go and find answers for you. You can feed it direct URLs that it will go and crawl, right? Go and look at and take all the information from a website and then use it to answer and conversate with the leads. You have to be very careful with that, because if in those websites, one, if they're not yours, I wouldn't recommend using them. And if you're going to use something that you don't own, has to be something public like Wikipedia or something that's just general information. Because if you go and you give OpenAI a website of a competitor, and that competitor has their phone number, their email, their contact, OpenAI will at some point use that information. So you're gonna really screw yourself, right? So you can't just use any URL for this thing to go scrape.
Yeah, that's the scary part of, and well, I mean, I just think that was the big eye-opening realization for me this week, and why I'm excited to, we're talking about it. You're sharing everything because we, in the back of our heads, we've tested out ChatGPT, on the site, and we ask crazy questions and it has answers for it, right? But it's pulling from the entire internet. However, when we go to a niche business, when we go to final expense insurance, like you mentioned, right? Like what's term life, all these things. Like if you're asking specific questions, it doesn't have the information to answer it, and you literally have to train it, and you're giving it, and you're setting the tone for the responses, right? How aggressive the responses need to be. This is all how you're training your platform, your AI, to respond to your prospects. And that takes a lot of work. And that's where I mentioned yesterday in a post of like, man, there's a lot of challenges that a lot of people, they just, and even me, like I thought this was really like a flip of a switch. Okay, just insert the chat bot. It's going to know how to have a conversation with them. Wrong. And so in going through, like on Go High Level, I've been going through and just asking dummy questions, and it's cool because you can, thumbs up, you can thumbs down the response it gives you. Do you want to modify it? How would you answer it? So, it takes somebody, you have to really know what you're doing to train this AI. Like you're literally telling a robot how you want to respond to people, and in what way, what words to use. And yeah, the shortcut is, go to transamerica.com and just feed off of that. You know what I mean? But
Right.
it's wow, so dangerous. Like you want to, like, everybody wants to take a shortcut and go the easiest route, but
Right.
wow, so I see the challenge there, but then I also see the value like that we're adding to our team and our agents of like, yeah, listen, we have AI that's well trained. And I think that's going to be the big differentiator we're going to see, I think, over the next year or two, as folks in the groups, and they're going to be posting, hey guys, how do I train my AI? What's the best resources that I have for this? And, and I think it's really for us, and I even see as we incorporate it more in the sales process, right? Like, okay, maybe we start out integrating AI on somebody we've already done a presentation to, but we didn't close them, right? Let's enable there, and then we get more comfortable, it's trained more. Now as a new prospect comes in, okay, wow, this machine is trained so well, we're now comfortable taking a brand new fresh lead and having AI go right from the beginning. But God, you cannot, and that's the biggest message for me that I learned, was you can't flip the switch on this. You really have to go through testing, spend time trying to go through every scenario of what a prospect may ask you, and then have those responses already generated in the tone that you want, and a tone that's I think on par with your brand and with
Right.
how you close and do business. Because again, they don't know they're talking to a computer, and that's the whole beautiful part about this. The more that we can automate it, and but so that's it takes a lot of freaking work, man. And then like you said too, it's and for me in my head, when I look at how I'm incorporating this and how we're incorporating it together, it's just that, when you look at the cost of this, like let's put aside all the time, the challenges that you're going to have, man. If you have, if you're a single final expense agent, right, and you're averaging 75 to 120 leads a week, and you're having ChatGPT send 3 to 4 text messages to them, to each one, at least minimum a week, man, you're talking
probably even more. It's probably even 3 to 4 a day sometimes, especially in the beginning as you're trying to engage. It'll get pretty expensive if you're using the direct connection. Now, again, there's alternatives to that, but starting off, if you're just going to use a direct connection that, for example, Go High Level has, it can be expensive. But for me, it's just like, all right, see it work, train it, because that is the key. Is you have to train this thing. It doesn't know what you're trying to do when it's answering, right? Like, it'll answer questions, very generic stuff.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't know that your goal is to get somebody to book an appointment, right, and you don't train it, and somebody says, well, I don't have time to talk right now. If it's not trained, the bot will just say, great, whenever you need this, feel free to reach out to us again.
Yeah.
Right? Gone. That lead's gone. So you're going to lose leads and deals because of that. You have to train this thing to understand that no matter what somebody responds in a text, the goal of the AI is to overcome the objection and then go back into booking the appointment, right? And that's part of the training, right? So you want it to where if the AI reaches out to somebody and says, hey, we just got your information about your request on life insurance on Facebook, I just want to confirm, do you have any other protection in place, or would this be the first time setup? You want that person, when they answer, no, first time, but I don't have time right now, right? You want the AI not to say, great, well, whenever you have time, feel free to reach out. We're experts in the field. You want it to say, that's no problem. I just want to go through a couple of questions with you and see if we can help, and maybe try to schedule a call for later this week. How does that sound? Right? And then the person says, well, no, I don't need this right now. Thanks anyway. Right? You don't want the AI to just back off, right? And say, okay, no problem. Whenever you need us, feel free to reach out. Again, you want the AI to say, that's understandable, but you did make the request for information, and we just want to give you this. We just want to share this information with you. It's only going to take 5 or 10 minutes to go through the details on how you can protect your family. And I have some time available for you over the course of the next few days. How does this day sound, or that day sound? Right? That's where you're trying to get this thing to get to. That's not out of the box, right? You're training this thing to do that. Like you said, within Go High Level, you can ask it a question, and when it answers, you can edit the answer. And the more you do that, the more the AI is understanding what the delivery needs to be and what the goal of the AI is at the end of the day. So very important. If you're going to use these tools, you have to understand how to use them, and you have to train this thing. It's not going to happen overnight. Look, you can sit through and spend a night or two probably doing some good enough training to go live.
Yeah.
But then you have to spend time ongoing training this thing. Very, very important. Now, secondary, you find out that this thing works. You don't want to pay Go High Level the big piece that they're wanting to charge. Second option, there's applications out there that will connect OpenAI into your CRM. Some of those will charge a few $100s a month, right? Plus OpenAI credits. OpenAI credits are very, very inexpensive, right? They're fractions of pennies. So that's not a very high cost. But then you're taking on a monthly fee to pay a company, for example, like ZappyChat, right? Which that's what they're doing. They created an app that connects your CRM into OpenAI. They charge a monthly for it and your credits. At scale and at volume, that's probably cheaper than paying 3 or 4 or 5 cents per message, right? So secondary option would be that. And we'll drop a link here if anybody wants to use ZappyChat. It's a great company. They do have some good options. So we'll leave the link on the details below if anybody wants to use that, or if you have questions on it. And then the third, and where we are going towards, as a company and where agencies will likely want to be, is actually developing their own system using a server, housing the questions, housing the training of the bot, and then feeding it back to OpenAI, connecting to it directly, and then, connecting it into the CRM. That's obviously more development, more custom code, more custom work, and it's an upfront investment, but you own it, right? You go to any other CRM, you switch this, you switch that, it's all yours. That bot, that training is completely yours. Because if you go through Zappy Chat and you decide that you want to not use it anymore, you've lost all the training that you've done to that bot. If you're on Go High Level and you decide that, hey, I don't want to use this anymore, I want to switch to another CRM, you can kiss your training and all that stuff goodbye. So ultimately, I think where people want to be, if you have the expense and the capital to do it, is do the upfront investment, build your own system that connects to OpenAI. That way you own the bot, you own the nurturing, you own all of it, and then you can use it however you see fit. And that's our goal, right? What we're doing for our clients is we're building out custom development using servers, using code that does all of this and houses those Q&As, houses the database that AI then goes in and uses to answer questions. Again, it's a bigger investment up front, but you own it completely. And just like I always say, like marketing, you want to control your own marketing, right? I believe that very, very, very deeply. Like, I don't want to count on a third-party vendor to get my leads and to get my business. I want to own that piece and control it. The same thing will be with this as time goes on, owning that bot and owning the training of it and everything that you've done to get it to where it is.
Huge.
Woo, that's a huge, huge asset that I don't think people are just seeing that yet. And so we're trying to educate out there independent agents and now really agencies that are in positions to invest into their business. We're trying to show them the way on it. So lot of work to do there. There is no shortage of it. But I do believe that it's a game changer, because now again, you can train this thing to not just book appointments, right? That's where it's at right now. Very, very like bottom tier level, very like starter package. The things that you'll be able to do with this as you develop and as you go forward are game changers for sure. They're game changers in the industry. But like anything else, I think it's important for new agents specifically and independent agents, don't get so caught up on it, right? It's just another tool. It's not going to replace you getting on the phones and selling somebody. It's just going to help you to get more people on the phones. It's just going to help you avoid having to manually text somebody and answer questions that somebody has. So it's not going to replace and it's not going to close deals for you, but it is going to be a huge, huge help. And the sooner you start rolling it out, the better off you're going to be for sure.
Yeah, no, I think there's, I think that's a great point. At the end of the day, I mean, I close deals where the standard automations have messed up, right? Somebody's like, the automation asks, hey, are you still in Los Angeles? And they say, no, I think I'm not eligible for this. And it's like, it responds back, okay, great, book a time on my calendar or something completely off. And they book a time and I end up talking to them. So it's like the automations can screw up completely and I still close them, or it can work great and I don't close them. You know what I mean? So it's like you said, let's not get so hung up that this is going to, one, it's not going to replace us.
Right.
Two, it's not going to, you're not going to become a millionaire overnight because you've incorporated, Chat GPT into your workflow. With that
Absolutely.
said, if we can, if it helps generate an extra 5, 10, 20% of, contacts, established calendar appointments, fantastic. Like, and it's a natural response. It's only gonna help. But again, it's gonna help. It's not going to be an absolute game changer. But again, what a nice touch for us to be able to have on our team, and then and to be able to help other agents and agencies, because my eyes have just been completely open to how much time is involved. It's 10 times more time involved in doing just standard automations, right? Because your
Right.
standard automations, you're building out 5 or 6 questions with 5 or 6 answers, and if they don't answer right, it doesn't respond or whatever it may be. But man, this is you got a pet robot, right? You might as well go to Boston Scientific and say, thanks for this robot. Now I have to train it and teach it and talk exactly the way I want it to. It takes a lot of work, but at the end result, it can be very, very powerful.
That's correct. Yeah. And I mean, look, just as an example, right? Especially agencies and companies that are accumulating data and leads that are coming in and now become, let's say you have data for 30 days that you're done calling and is now sitting there. You could create an entire workflow using AI to go after that age data. You don't dial it. You don't engage with it whatsoever. You just let the bot run wild on data that's maybe 14 plus days, 14 to 90 days old to stay TCPA compliant. And this thing's just dropping voicemails, hitting them with text messages, engaging. There's so many things you can do. And so you can re-engage old age leads and potentially get people back on a calendar without you ever calling them. So the possibilities and the options that you have to use this thing are absolutely fantastic. I think that, man, it's a lot, right? For a business to take on. It's going to be very, very helpful. Everybody should be utilizing AI one way or another, right? Whether it's starting off small and just learning the idea of it. How is it going to work? How is it going to help your business? And little by little starting to implement it. I think it's very, very important. I'll summarize and leave this last thought on it, and then we'll move to our next topic. But, I always reference going back to e-com because when I was in that business, we saw so many advancements happening so quickly. And we either jumped on those things and learned and implemented them. And there were things that we didn't, right? That we passed on and saw a technology or something that came to market and it was like, we don't need this. And then 8 months later, we're backtracking and trying to figure out how to use those things. So I always think it's so important, whatever industry that you're on, implementing technology and staying at the forefront of it is so important for your business. Don't leave that to the side. Don't take it for granted because it can literally put you out of business, right? If you don't advance with technology, with the changes that happen, you could literally find yourself in a hole that you're trying to crawl out of and you might not be able to. So I'll kind of summarize, AI and anything else that comes along, which in the insurance business, it's very outdated. And we always talk about those things, right? And so you're going to see quickly advancements and technology come in and you cannot be left behind. You can't be sitting on the sidelines watching this stuff go on. You have to take action. You have to jump into the pool and you got to start using all these things that are out there. So those are my last 2 cents. What about you? Last 2 cents on AI, then we'll jump on next topic.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the majority of people right now, there's a lot of testing and working that needs to be done with AI and really seeing in fruition and having a good strategy on that. And so I think, just like many things in this industry, it's easy to jump into something, not understand the full scope of it and what it really means to have it put in and get it going. So, I mean, I know we'll put out some more content as well. And if you guys aren't in our Facebook page, it's a great place. Go in there, ask some questions. If you want to see a little bit more examples of how we're testing out AI in real time, and maybe you need help with hey, how would you kind of answer this question? And I'm trying to train my AI. Look, we're happy to share those ideas. And there's a million different ways to skin a cat. I think this is going to be I think it's going to be a game changer as there's more databases and more things that come on board. It's been a really, I mean, literally this week diving into it myself, seeing it, it's been really cool, really helpful. And Yeah, it just lets me know. I think we all get really nervous of like, oh my God, have I missed the boat? Have I, am I late, missing it? No, it's like this is all happening right now,
Right.
and there's a lot to it. So, anyways, yeah, excited to see it kind of evolve and grow. But yeah,
Yep.
I'm excited. Let's talk about this. Let's get our hands a little dirty here.
This is juicy. We got something here, and once again,
yeah,
we're either someone's coming for us or I don't I'm gonna have to watch out. But I think this is a topic that, man, I've been really wanting to talk about. I've made several posts about it.
yeah.
I'm vocal about it to other agents when they ask me, and that is the ACA no-call ads and systems that are out there that agents have been jumping on for the last, I don't know, I think I heard the first time about this no-call system. It's probably maybe almost a year, maybe not that long. It's probably sometime in the beginning of this year that I started seeing and hearing, and then the ads started being delivered to me. And
this is just so everybody's following. This is ACA, right? We're switching gears. I know we talked a lot about
yes. Now we're talking ACA health insurance marketplace and the misleading ads and systems that are out there that a couple of companies have jumped on and are selling these systems to agents, primarily new agents, right? Agents that don't know ACA, don't come from doing ACA, and were delivered an ad that said, hey, do you want to, build an ACA book of business, residual, the promise of, giant books and thousands of dollars in residual commissions every month. No different than the recruiting side of things in this business, and how they, they're promoting, easy money, do nothing, make millions of dollars. It's the same concept that we're seeing now in this ACA no call system, right? Which is basically, let's get a bunch of agents to pay and sign up for this. And the concept is shitty. I mean, there is no other way to call it, right? It sucks. And what it is simple, right? So the idea is that you run an ad, right, to ACA potential people, and that ad is baiting people in with either things that say $500, get a $500 gift card, or 3 to 4 day vacation packages. God, who's buying health insurance based on a vacation package is beyond me, but it's out there. And just baiting these consumers into clicking on the ad, right? Now they get into the ad, and it brings them into a landing page with a bunch of questions, right? The questions are basically the same exact questions that you would ask a consumer when you're on the phone with them to do an application for health insurance, right? Either on healthcare.gov or Health Sherpa, whatever you use. And this ticks me off a lot because I'm an ACA person, right? I have a book of business on ACA. I spend a lot of time posting on TikTok organically about ACA health insurance. I've built this book of business. This will be my third enrollment season doing ACA. It'll be your first enrollment season coming into ACA. Welcome to the party, pal. But seeing this shit that's out there, it ticks me off because it hurts the industry. It hurts the agents that are out there doing a good job by people, and it hurts consumers. So nobody is benefiting from this. The only ones that benefit from this garbage are the people that are selling the system to the agents. That's it, right? And we'll talk about some more details and actual facts on why this shit doesn't work and it's not really helping people. And I talk to agents every single week that ran these ads, that started these programs, and now they're out of it because they realize they're just spinning their wheels. But going back to what it is, right? So the ad is delivered. It's a bait and switch type of thing. They're offering them a $500 gift card. Let's be very clear with that. Let's break that first thing down. There is no carrier out there that is handing a person a $500 gift card to go use. That is not real. That doesn't exist. What there are programs that each carrier has, and based on the engagement of that member, they're able to qualify to get points, right? And typically, so the person becomes a member. For example, Ambetter is one of the big ones. Ambetter has this thing called My Health Pays. And it's a series of questionnaires and surveys and actions that the member has to take throughout the year. And when they do these surveys, these questionnaires, when they do whatever steps are involved, they're given points, right? And those points accumulate in that person's account, right? On their Ambetter member account. You can then convert those points into all kinds of things. One of them is a Visa gift card. Now, Ambetter or any other carrier is not giving you $500 in points from day one. No. If you do a questionnaire this month, maybe you get 40 points. You answer a couple questions next month, you get another 40 points. These points then get transferred, and again, you can convert them, but they're dollars at a time, right? So maybe this month the person can get $20, next month $20, next month $30. And over the course of a calendar year, they'll qualify for up to $500 in a gift card. But that's very different from an ad that runs to a consumer that says, qualify for zero health insurance and get a $500 gift card. That's misleading. It's deceptive. It's a lie. It's bait and switch. It's everything that's wrong with marketing in the insurance business. Because nowhere in any of those ads is it breaking down what really happens and what that member has to do to get those $500, and that they're not going to get them one after another. It's going to take months and months to accumulate those things, right? So that's step one. Then they're offering them 3 to 4 day vacations to fill out these forms, these applications. And I don't know about you, but I come from e-com, right? I used to sell these 3 to 4 day vacation packages, right? I sold them. I sold thousands of them on the internet. And I understand where they come from, right? These are things that sometimes you get for free and you can resell, right? Sometimes they're timeshares, right? So the person is getting a 3 to 4 day vacation, but they also have to sit through a presentation for 2 hours or 3 hours when they get there. And some people are okay with that. That's cool. But again, we're getting back into deceptiveness. We're getting back into bait and switching somebody by giving them a free vacation, a free timeshare thing, for in exchange, that person giving you information to then sign them up for insurance. It's so ugly. It's so like shady, right, to me, because again, knowing what it takes to properly assess somebody's health insurance needs, the idea that somebody is going to let me sign them up for whatever insurance I want, and in return, I'm giving them a 3 to 4 day vacation. Like, man, you are screwing people left and right, which we'll talk about how that now is coming to light and why we're having this conversation, right? But somebody gets those things, answers these questions on a form online, and then at the bottom, they are agreeing and they're checking off a box, and sometimes there's a signature that they have to scribble their name on, but they're getting a consent, right? A written consent that says something like, by checking this box, you now agree to have XYZ person become the agent of record, and you also allow us to find you the best zero cost health insurance based on your qualifications and the answers that you provided. And, this consent is forever unless changed in writing, by writing an email, by jumping through these hoops is the only way you can revoke this consent. And there it is, right? The person submits. Now the agent has all these questions that the person answered and this little consent that the person checked off on. Now the agent can take that information, go on to Health Sherpa, healthcare.gov, or wherever, and put that person on a zero cost health plan. And they've been making changes to the system. At the beginning, they didn't ask about doctors, prior conditions, none of that shit. They were just putting the person on whatever zero cost health plan the person qualified for, and they called it a day. Then they started making changes and asking more questions because they realized that, for example, a person is a diabetic and there's specific plans in the marketplace that cater to diabetics and provide insulin, provide the things that they need to maintain their condition, right? There's programs or there's plans in the marketplace that give that person free diabetic supplies. Well, what if that person was on the plan like that and now they saw this ad that they're going to get $500 free gift card and they're going to get a 4-day vacation, and man, that person is so excited because they're already low income. Something to keep in mind, that we're also preying on lower income individuals, and man, that's a really, really bad place to be dealing with or to be doing business in. When you are misleading low income individuals and carriers start hearing about it, the next thing that hears about it are attorney generals, and then the doors come knocking, right? So man, if you're out there running these ads and running this stuff or selling this garbage to agents, tread lightly, because they're coming, right? When we take advantage of seniors in this country or low income people, that is not taken lightly, and you're made examples of in most cases. So now you have this person who is a low income person, had been on a plan where their diabetic supplies are provided to them. They saw this ad of $500 gift card and a 3-4 day vacation. And now this agent now has their information, this little box that they checked as a consent. And now they sign them up for a different plan. And now on this different plan, it doesn't cost them anything, but now their diabetic supplies are $150 a month.
Mm.
How bad are you screwing that person by taking them off a plan that was doing great and putting them on something that is completely wrong for that person? But you as an agent have no way of knowing that because you don't speak to the person. You're promoting this no-call sale, right? And the agent feels great because they got this approval, they got this consent, they go on Health Sherpa, they sign them up, move, they go on to the next one. And that's the premise of the system, right? That you run ads and people are filling out these pages and filling out these questions and these consents so that you don't have to talk to them. There's a no-call feature involved, and the agent is just getting basically closed deals, right? Like done applications that they can go and submit to Health Sherpa and build this massive book of business and make thousands and thousands of dollars on. Right? That's the whole premise of these programs, these, no-call systems and money printers and all this garbage that you see out there. And all we're doing is screwing people, guys, right? Like, and it's interesting how the companies selling it are promoting it to newer agents, right? Because you're not going to sell me that shit. I see right through it, right? As soon as I saw the first ad, I was like, well, this is grossly, this is just neglect on and misleading on so many levels. No good ACA agent is ever going to jump on this bandwagon. Sorry, call came in. But if you are a life insurance agent, let's say, and you don't know anything about health insurance, and you've been on the grind of life insurance and building your book, and you don't get those massive residuals, you are enticed with the idea of a residual book of business, right? Enticed with a residual book of business, right? That agent is being sold the idea because they don't know anything about ACA. They've heard about it. They know there's residual, but they don't know anything about it. And so these companies are preying on those new agents that don't know anything about ACA or how it works and saying, hey, here's a shiny ATM machine that we can sell you in a system that's going to give you closed applications. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to dial one phone number. You're just going to get completed applications. You're going to sign them up, and then checks are going to start coming in, right? So it starts from the top. The company that's selling it is preying on agents that don't know any better. And there's thousands of them out there, right? There's millions of them out there. Again, primarily because these are agents that are doing life insurance, PNC, other lines of business. And now they see this ad that's misleading to them, and they jump on the bandwagon. Here's the worst part about it. The same company that sells them that lead generation system is saying, hey, by the way, you can contract with us to get your ACA contracts and get ready to sell. So this company that's selling it is making money off the lead generation system, then is getting that agent to be a downline to them, right? Step two. Here's the worst part about it. When the shit hits the fan and Ambetter or a carrier comes back to that agent and says, hey, we're canceling your contract because of the complaints that we're getting from your customers, we will no longer do business with you. It's not the upline or the company at the top that sold that agent the system that's getting pain, right? It's the agent. The agent is getting blacklisted from that carrier. The agent is losing that customer. The agent is the one that spent the money for that lead generation system. The company that sold it still sits at the top. They've collected their money for the system. They've collected whatever policies and overrides on the deals that you're writing, and they scathe free. Now you see those guys moving and shifting out of ACA because they see the heat. They're feeling it, man. They're feeling the pressure. Now they're moving on, and now they've got a new system out called the Medicare pre-booked appointment, no dial system, right? And now they're selling a different concept. Hey, here's a lead generation system that's going to get you Medicare pre-booked appointments, and they found a way to get through and around the scope of appointment thing. And now they're going to prey on a bunch of agents there and get a bunch of those agents because the AC thing is literally caving in on them. There's no doubt about it. I want more than anything for those people to go out of business. Here I am on record saying it. I can't wait for those people to go down and for this shit to be cleaned out of the business, right? Because, and here's what happened, right? So we're talking about this now because last week, Ambetter sent an email. And if you go on my page on IG, I think I posted on TikTok too, but if you go on any of my pages, you'll see the video I made. And I actually show the email that Ambetter sent. The email went out to every single agent and agency that's contracted with them. And the email starts by saying, we have received an enormous amount of complaints from customers that are stating that they signed up for health insurance through deceptive and misleading ads that told them they were going to get a $500 gift card, a vacation package, and has the member check off a box and enroll into health insurance without ever speaking to somebody. And then they start talking about the fact, like literally, the only thing they didn't do was name this company that's doing it. And now there's copycats. Now there's a bunch of little companies that are out there selling this no-call ACA, program. But it all came from one company. You know who you are. I'm talking right to you, my man. Stop doing that shit. It's garbage and you're hurting the industry, right? It ticks me off. It pisses me off. Man, it gets my blood going. And when you talk to other big ACA agencies out there, they feel exactly the same way. I hope those people get put out of business. But now a carrier sending a letter, ripples, man, ripples out there. In this last week that I've talked to agents that were doing this ACA no call, they're bugging out, right? They're saying, man, what's going to happen? I'm doing this. And I'm advising every single agent that's out there that's been running this shit, get off of it. Get off of it. Stop running deceptive ads. If you want to be an ACA, do it the right way. Work it just like all of us that are in this business doing it are. Like, get out of it. Run away from it as fast as you can. If you can get a refund for it, go get yourself a refund for it. But detach from this company because there's more stuff coming. And it's only a matter of time, right? Like now, Ambetter rolled it out. I just saw another communication from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. CMS talked about it a month or two ago. And I've seen this happen, right? Now, let's go. I can go back and give you a point of reference on how this shit happens, right? So right now, the consumer complaints is what brings these things down, right? The more people start complaining and complaining and complaining, it obviously now got to the carriers. So the carriers are now informing. But what's going to happen is some of these people that are complaining are going to call their state, right? And they're going to start filing complaints with their own state attorney, right? With the state attorney saying that they were scammed, that they were this, that they were that. The same thing that happened in 2006 with debt settlement and debt consolidation services, right? And I know about this because a good friend of mine was an attorney that represented some of these companies back then. But that's how it happened, right? Debt settlement came out of nowhere. It was a program that, you know, they were contacting people with $10, $20, $50,000 in debt and saying, hey, don't pay your bills. Let them go. And then we'll start negotiating on your behalf and try to get you a settlement of 30 to 50%. And we're going to charge you this amount to do this. The people that started those businesses made millions in a matter of years. And what came caving down, what brought that entire business down and regulation and changes that then took place over the next 5 years were the complaints, were the sheer volume that was being done. The complaints just started stacking and stacking and stacking, and they went to attorney generals, and one or two attorney generals saw it across their desk and said, here's a way to make a name for myself, right? Here's the way to go after something that's going to help the consumer. And that's it. FTC got involved, you know, and these places started going out of business left and right. Seizures started happening by the government, takeovers, which are called, gosh, I can't think of the name, but it's a process in which the federal government hires an attorney, right, or a law firm that comes in and takes over your business, completely takes over. You're out. They take over and they wind down your business. Can't think of the name. There's a word for it. But this happened in debt settlement in 05, 06. This happened in the real estate market in 08 and 09, right? When the shit hit the fan and real estate took a turn, and all of a sudden companies were out there praying and running misleading ads to try to get people to sell their homes, redo their mortgages, all these things. Same thing happened. The sheer volume of it, how quickly it grew, complaints reached attorney generals, and then the shit hit the fan and FBI seizures, all kinds of nonsense. Same thing that's happened in the DME space, right? The medical device space over the last 10 years. Massive restructuring in that industry because of the deceptive methods on which companies are gaining customers. Complaints. AG shut down. We're here now. This is the The same exact thing is happening, right? Somebody came up with this idea, started selling it, it grew, and now the sheer volume of it, you're starting to see the complaints. The complaints now start with carriers. But I'm on recording, mark my words, over the course of the next 3 to 6 months, you're going to start seeing attorney generals get involved into this shit and put this puzzle together, right? Figure out where it's all coming from, who was the main company that started this thing, and they will make an example out of that company with fines, with whatever, right? It's not the end of the world, but it's the end of this. It's the beginning of the end of it. I'm super happy for it. I can't wait to see it all go away. And I'm quickly seeing agents say, I don't want any part of this shit. Can you help me change my ads? I want to run normal ads. I want to run normal stuff. And that's a great sign for this business. So ACA no call. The shit is over. If you're an agent out there running this, stop. Stop doing this. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting the industry. You're hurting consumers. I could rant on about this shit for a while because it makes me mad. But your thoughts, and I know you're new to ACA, but just give us your thoughts on everything, on this whole idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to, I mean, everything that we know of, like when you look at the dirty side of this business, right? And you look at we talk about the call centers, everything, it's like they're just all trying to capture these folks, you know, as at any cost possible. Literally, let's build a call center of 500 people. Let's make calls. And if they say hello, then we're going to take that as consent, right? Like, it's like, oh, we can get them, if we can send them something, we can dupe them in with some $500 card and then just get their consent. Click that button, man. And it's like those emails you get, like, do not reply, no reply. Like, we're going to send you this this notice and you have no way of getting a hold of us back, right? And we're going to pray that you just don't have it in you to call another agent or anything, right? So, I mean, I think that's, for me, it's like, okay, say all this works and say it's super ethical for whatever standpoint. What happens when they don't get that $500 gift card, right? Like, you've lost that customer now, because hopefully they're going to call someone like Oscar or Eric and say, hey, man, I'm in something. I don't know how I got into this. I'm paying 3 times as much for my insulin. I don't know what's going on here. I need help. I mean, so, but who cares if you're, who cares if that happens, right? Because I'm selling you leads, right? And I'm taking your money and it's working. You're getting deals, and then, but 6 months from now, these people are falling off, or hey, now you're getting your contract canceled and terminated. Now you can't sell. So who cares? Who cares how successful you were on these? But I think the long term is nuts. And I actually reached out. I'm in North Carolina. I reached out to Mike Causey. He's our insurance commissioner as well. I invited him to come on the podcast. So waiting to hear back from him as well. Would love to hear even from his standpoint of like, hey, look, how much of this are you aware of? How much of this do you know what's going on?
I love it.
Because this impacts our citizens, right? People in my neighborhood, my family. Like, could you imagine if it was, your mom got a phone call from somebody, or she saw an ad, like $500 gift, and she changed her policy. It's costing her money. She's on limited income. Like, you'd probably want to go strangle that agent, right? So, man, like, let's. It's such a big issue. It's already so hard for ethical agents like ourselves that are doing things the right way, right? It's already so hard to get somebody who, and now it's just another scam. It's these guys are getting lied to again. And so when I personally call folks and they're hesitant to do business with me, this is the reasons why, right? Like they're making it difficult on everybody. And so I think the better that we all really have a voice, that we speak up about these issues, is the only way it's gonna improve, and and really help people out at the end of the day.
Well, and look, by the way, just because you're allowed to do it, right? Not the deceptive ads, but the idea of getting a written consent from somebody, that's acceptable. That's a guideline in CMS. You can sign up somebody. It's the reason why somebody can go on healthcare.gov and sign up for health insurance without speaking to somebody, right? So a written consent is acceptable. Creating a deceptive model around what's acceptable is what is not acceptable, right? Like
Mm.
misleading people and using a consent form. Like, here's an idea. Why do we need to do misleading ads, right? Like, if this is such a great system, this no call, and this is what people really want, they don't want to talk to somebody, they just want health insurance, then you really shouldn't need the misleading ads, right? You should be able to just run a normal ad that promotes the idea of like, hey, this is nice and easy. You don't even have to speak to an agent. If you answer all these questions and you provide your consent, we'll place you in a policy. And if you're asking the questions, do you have prior medical conditions? Do you have an existing primary care physician? Do you go to specialists? Do you take medications? If you're asking those questions and they're answering them, then you're doing the right thing, right? You're providing somebody with health insurance. But the idea that you have to create this whole deceptive ad to get them to come in, that's where you lose me, right? And by the way, the success, shit sucks. I'm talking to agents right now, because remember, who they're targeting are year-round SEP folks, right? So the year-round SEP, special enrollment period, are for people that are making less than a certain amount of money per year, right? So low income people. So those are the only folks that can enroll into health insurance basically any time of the year. Outside of that, like myself and you, we have to wait until open enrollment to pick a new policy for the next year. So now you have these low income people, right, that are obviously going to be heavily triggered by the idea of money, right, of a $500 gift card or a 3 or 4 day vacation. Some of them haven't had a vacation and God knows when. Some of them have never even been on a plane, right? That's the realities of this. So you dangle this little carrot that says, hey, here's $500, or hey, here's a 3 day vacation. Of course, people are going to jump to it. Now, every agent that's running this system is fishing in the same pond, right? We're all going after the same exact person. There's only so many of those people out there. And so here's what's happening. You run the system today, you sign up, Josie. Josie signs up for no call. She gives you all the information. She gives you the consent. You sign her up for health insurance. Now, Josie goes about her day. Now, the next day, I run it, right? Because I'm also running the no-call system because I think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And now Josie sees my ad, $500 gift card, 4 day vacation. Again, Josie is a low-income person that is easily motivated by money. Josie's gonna click on my ad.
Yeah.
And now she's gonna fill out my information. And now I get that consent. Now I go on Health Sherpa or healthcare.gov and I type in all the information and it says this person has a policy and they're with Eric. Well, Josie gave me consent to be her agent of record. So what am I going to do? I'm going to swap. I'm going to keep her in the same policy. I'm going to make a change to the application, income by a penny or email, or make some sudden change in the application, which then gives me the authority to become the agent of record, which means the next month I'm going to receive that commission. Eric, you no longer have it. I have it. Right? And at the end of the month, here's the dirty secret. On the last day of each month, these agents are having to pull a report of all of their customers to see if any of them were swapped by another agent running the same system. And if they were, they quickly have to try to put that person back into the book so that the first day of the month when the payment runs, because whoever shows as the AOR the first day of the month, that's who's getting paid for last month, right? And so here we are. Here's a group of agents that have all bought into this great system, this no-call deceptive bullshit. And we're just passing the members back and forth. That's all we're doing, right? So you have some of these agents that are out there that are like, man, I signed up 300 people this month and 80% of them already had insurance. All I did was steal them from somebody else.
Hmm.
And then the next month, somebody stole them from me. So your retention rate is low, right? The retention on deals like this is 50%, 40%, right? You're losing half, if not more, of these deals every single month. So how sustainable and scalable is it? It's not. More importantly, all you're doing is stealing from each other. You're taking from another agent that maybe is running this system or maybe not. Maybe I spent an hour with Susie and really went through the process and did everything. But then Susie sees your ad and wants the $500 gift card, and now you stole that deal from me. I worked it. I took the time to explain insurance. I did everything that I was supposed to do. And here you come in and you take that customer and now it's yours.
Yeah.
So the root of the problem to a certain degree is at the top, and why and how easy it is for me to change somebody's AOR to me from you. That should not be allowed. And I think those things are changing, right? I think over the course of the next year or so, you'll see that you can't just go in and change somebody's AOR by having their social security and making a minor change on the application. You're going to need more than that to do it. And as soon as that happens, that's going to change. But that's the whole concept here, right? Like, we're just stealing from each other. Everybody's in the same cesspool, throwing these low-income people back and forth with these misleading ads.
Yeah.
Man, it's like when I say it, it sounds so shady and like gross, right? Like, man, it's dirty. It's just like, who the hell wants to be a part of this system?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what agent, if you really think about this, is that something you want to be a part of as an agent? Is that how you want to be known? You know,
you can see. I mean, I don't even think people go that far. I mean, I think these agents are hit with, you don't have to work, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. I don't care. I don't have to work, and I can make money, and I don't care like the consequence of what's actually happening behind the scenes. Yeah, I mean, I can see how that works. I can see how this guy, is selling a ton, and but it's catching up, as you see, it's catching up.
Oh yeah.
Man, I really hope we get a response from the insurance commissioner, because I want to have him on and to discuss this as well. And he's not the only commissioner out there, so we'll keep hitting out there. I'd love to have my own town.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to send it to Jimmy Patrone, right? He's the Florida insurance person. So literally today, I'm said, Jimmy, big shout out, Jimmy. I'm sending it to you, man. Come on the podcast. Let's talk about this. Let's put this madness to an end, man. And by the way, agents, if you're out there, send an email to your state insurance department, right? Put them on notice on what's going on. Let's end this madness, because in the long run, this doesn't help your business. It doesn't. You might be making money right now. You're going to lose all those deals. They're going to get stolen back. And eventually the system is going to die out. Let's end this, right? Let's put the people that need to be put on notice, and let's put these people out of business. That's my goal.
Yeah, I love it. All righty. Well, this is the longest short show we've done.
Man, it was supposed to be 30 minutes. It's an hour and 8. There's a lot of information, man. There's a lot to talk about. And I think agents that don't know about this stuff, nobody's telling them about this, right? They're just on their own trying to figure this stuff out, and they get sucked into these things. So I think it was needed. I think we'll spend time. Hopefully people watch it. Hopefully people out there learn something from it. Guys, if you have a question about any of this stuff, right? We're not looking to recruit. We're not looking to sell you anything. We're truly trying to help this industry and clean up the bullshit that's out there. If you have questions, if you want to, toss an idea back and forth, reach out to us. You see the policy dude at My Insurance Aid. You can reach us on all social media channels. We're super receptive. We always answer. And if we can help in any way, God, let's do it.
Sounds good. Yeah, I love it. All right. Well, until next time.
Until next time, we are off and we are gone. By the way, next episode, Grammy Award winning intro will be playing.